I've always believed that family is something you fight for, even when it fights you back. My name's Ellen, 49 years old, married to Tom for 31 of them, and for the last 5 years, ever since my son Colton and his ex Anna blew their marriage to pieces, I've been the one holding the glue. Not because I'm some saint, God knows I'm not, but because of Crystal. That little girl with the gap-toothed grin and the wild curls is the only pure thing left in this mess, and I'd walk through fire before I let her feel the fracture we adults created. After the split, Anna moved fast. New apartment, new boyfriend, David, new baby boy before Crystal even turned 4. And every single holiday, every birthday, every random Sunday barbecue, Tom and I bent over backward to make room for them. We invited David to Thanksgiving before Colton could even stomach looking at him. We bought Christmas gifts for the new baby that cost more than what we spent on Crystal some years, just to keep the peace. I hosted Easter egg hunts in my backyard and smiled while Anna posted pictures of our blended family on social media like we were all one big happy tribe. I swallowed every snide comment, every last-minute cancellation, every time she forgot to RSVP until the food was already on the table. I did it for Crystal. Always for Crystal. This Christmas was supposed to be different, better, magical. The local petting zoo puts on this nighttime holiday event every December. Thousands of twinkling lights strung through the barns and paddocks, mini horses pulling little sleigh carts along a snow-dusted path, carolers in Victorian costumes, hot cocoa stations everywhere you turn. They end the night with a chuck wagon dinner under a heated tent, prime rib, cornbread, roasted marshmallows for s'mores. It's the kind of thing kids remember forever. Crystal had been talking about it since Halloween, pressing her face to the computer screen while I showed her the website, whispering, "Gamma, can we ride the sleighs, please?" Tom and I didn't hesitate. We looped everyone in, Colton, Anna, David, even the new baby. "We'll cover it all," Tom told them. "Just show up and enjoy." Anna texted back a string of heart emojis and a "that sounds amazing!" exclamation points, so I thought, foolishly, that we were all on the same page. A week before the event, Tom found VIP tickets on a resale site, half price, almost too good to be true. Front-of-line access for the sleigh rides, reserved seating at dinner, complimentary cocoa mugs the kids could keep, the whole package. Kids under 10 got in free anyway, so it was really just covering the adults. He snapped them up before they vanished. 8 tickets total. Tom and me, Colton, Anna, David, David's mother, who Anna insisted had to come, her date, and sweet Crystal, who wouldn't cost a dime but would get every single perk. I couldn't stop picturing it. Crystal's eyes reflecting the colored lights as the mini horses jingled past, her little gloved hands clutching that souvenir mug while she roasted marshmallows with her daddy. All of us together, laughing, the tension of the last 5 years finally easing under the glow of Christmas magic. I even bought her a new red coat with faux fur trim just for the occasion, laid it out on the guest bed like it was something sacred. The plan was simple. Everyone drives separately, tickets waiting at will call under Tom's name. After the event, Crystal would go home with Colton for the night, then spend the day with us leading up to Christmas. She'd already whispered her wish list to me weeks earlier. Ice skates, because she saw figure skaters on TV and decided that was her destiny, a robot dinosaur that roars and walks, and a deluxe art set with the good markers that don't bleed through paper. Nothing crazy, nothing excessive, just 5-year-old dreams I couldn't wait to make real. 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, my phone rang. I was in the kitchen, sliding a batch of gingerbread into the oven so the house would smell like Christmas when Crystal arrived. I saw Anna's name on the screen and answered with a smile in my voice. "Hey, honey, you guys on your way soon?" There was a pause. Then Anna's tone, light, breezy, like she was ordering coffee. "Actually, Ellen, I talked to David's mom about everything, and she really wants tonight to just be family, you know?" My hand froze on the oven door. "I'm not sure I follow." Yeah, like just us. Me, David, his mom, her date, the kids. A little bonding thing for the new side of the family. So we figured we'd take Crystal with us tonight, and then you guys can have her from the 26th through New Year's. That work? The oven chimer beeped behind me, shrill and insistent. I didn't move. I'm sorry, I said slowly, but we've already bought the VIP tickets, everyone's tickets. Tom paid for all of you. Oh, I know, and that's so sweet, seriously. But David's mom is only in town a few days, and she wants that core family experience. I'm sure you understand. Core family. The words landed like a slap. I gripped the edge of the counter, knuckles whitening. Anna, we planned this together. Crystal's been counting down the days, and the tickets are non-refundable. She steamrolled right over me. Also, while I have you, we've been talking about Christmas gifts, and we really don't want Crystal getting overwhelmed with toys this year. Clothes are fine, jewelry if it's tasteful, but if anyone's getting her toys, we'd prefer it stick to American Girl stuff. That's what she's into right now. I closed my eyes. American Girl? Crystal had never once mentioned American Girl dolls to me, not once. She'd spent an entire afternoon at my house drawing pictures of a green robot T-Rex with laser eyes. She'd begged me to watch ice skating videos on YouTube. But American Girl? That was Anna's aesthetic, not Crystal's. Anna, I said, voice shaking despite my best effort. Crystal asked me specifically for ice skates, a robot dinosaur, and art supplies. She's never said a word about American Girl. A huff of laughter, like I was the one being unreasonable. Kids change their minds, Ellen. She'll love it, trust me. I stood there in my warm kitchen, gingerbread burning behind me, the scent turning acrid, and felt something inside me crack wide open. All the years of smiling through gritted teeth, all the invitations extended, all the gifts purchased for a baby who shares none of my blood, every compromise I'd made to keep the peace crashed down on me at once. This wasn't a simple change of plans. This was deliberate exclusion. This was Anna deciding, 2 hours before the event we paid for, that Tom and I no longer qualified as Crystal's real family. That our money was welcome, but our presence wasn't. That our granddaughter's own wishes didn't matter if they didn't fit the image she wanted to project to her new mother-in-law. I ended the call without saying goodbye, just pressed the red button while she was mid-sentence about how gratitude goes a long way. The phone clattered onto the counter. My hands were trembling. Tears, hot, furious ones, burned at the corners of my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not yet. Tom found me standing there, staring at nothing. When I told him what she said, his face went very still. Colton, who'd just arrived to ride with us, listened in silence, jaw clenched so tight I thought he might crack a tooth. For a long moment, none of us spoke. Then I looked at them both and said, voice low and steady despite the storm inside me, "We're not canceling." Because something had shifted. The glue I'd been using all these years, it had finally dried up, and I was done holding everything together for people who wouldn't do the same for me. I stood in the kitchen long after the call ended, staring at the phone like it might bite me. The gingerbread had turned black at the edges, filling the house with a bitter, charred smell that matched the taste in my mouth. Betrayal, that's what it was. Sharp, metallic, impossible to swallow. Tom came in first. He took one look at my face and stopped dead in the doorway. What happened? I couldn't speak first. The words were lodged somewhere behind the lump in my throat. When I finally forced them out, my voice came out flat and cold, like I was reading someone else's tragedy. I told him everything, the "just family" comment, the gift demands, the casual way Anna had unraveled weeks of planning in under 5 minutes. Tom's reaction was quieter than mine, but I knew him well enough to recognize the storm behind his eyes. His jaw tightened, the muscle twitching the way it does when he's truly furious. He didn't yell, he just said, "She did not," in a tone so low it vibrated in my chest. Colton walked in 10 minutes later, duffel bag slung over his shoulder, ready to pick up Crystal and head to the event together. He was humming some Christmas song under his breath, until he saw us. The humming stopped. "What's wrong?" I let Tom repeat it this time. Maybe I needed to hear it again to believe it was real. Colton listened without interrupting, but I watched the color drain from his face, then rush back in as anger. When Tom finished, Colton let out a short, humorless laugh. "She's kicking you out of an event you paid for, so David's mom can play Happy Family?" He shook his head. Unbelievable. We migrated to the living room like a war council. I sat on the couch, knees pressed together, hands clenched in my lap. Tom paced slowly in front of the fireplace. Colton dropped into the armchair and leaned forward, elbows on his thighs, staring at the rug like it might offer answers. For a while, nobody spoke. The clock on the mantel ticked louder than it ever had before. Part of me, the part that had spent 5 years biting my tongue, wanted to call Anna back and smooth it over, offer to drop the tickets at the gate, pretend it didn't hurt, keep the peace for Crystal's sake. That part whispered that grandmothers are supposed to be the bigger person, the ones who absorb the blows so the children don't feel them. But another part, quieter for years, but growing louder by the second, was done absorbing. "She doesn't get to do this," I said finally. My voice surprised me, steady, almost calm. "She made her choice." Tom stopped pacing and looked at me. "What are you saying, Elle?" "I'm saying we're not canceling." I met his eyes, then Colton's. "We bought those tickets. We made those plans. Crystal's been excited for weeks. We're going." Colton exhaled slowly. "And Anna? She made her choice." The words tasted like steel. "Wants just family? Fine, we'll have our own family night." A beat of silence, then Colton nodded, once, decisive. "Damn right we will." Tom rubbed a hand over his face, thinking, "She'll expect us to hand over the tickets anyway, probably show up assuming we'll cave." The thought ignited something hot and bright inside me. All these years, that's exactly what we'd done. Caved, adjusted, accommodated. And what had it gotten us? A daughter-in-law who now felt comfortable telling us we weren't welcome in our own granddaughter's life unless it suited her schedule and her image. "Not this time," I said. We talked logistics quickly. Crystal was still with Anna, but Colton had visitation rights and a standing agreement that she could spend pre-Christmas days with us. He texted Anna, "I'm picking Crystal up in an hour for the event as planned. We'll drop her back after." No response yet, but he didn't wait for one. He'd deal with that bridge when he got there. We decided to leave early, beat the crowd, get there before Anna's group could cause a scene at the gate. And that's when the idea hit me. Not a grand plan, not some elaborate revenge plot, just a small, delicious act of defiance. "We're not giving them the tickets," I said. Tom raised an eyebrow. "We're not?" "No." I felt a smile tug at my lips for the first time since the call. "We're going to give them away." Colton looked up sharply. "To who?" "To whoever's next in line with kids, some family who actually wants to be there together." I paused, savoring the image. "Some couple who will appreciate it." Tom started to grin, a slow, wicked thing I hadn't seen on his face in years. "That's cold, Elle." "It's fair," I corrected. We moved fast after that. I scraped the burnt gingerbread into the trash, the bitterness of it somehow satisfying now. Colton left to pick up Crystal. Tom and I loaded the truck, blankets, hand warmers, the new red coat I'd bought for her. My heart was pounding, but not with hurt anymore, with something closer to anticipation. The drive to the petting zoo took 20 minutes. The roads were already filling with families heading to the event, strings of headlights glittering like the lights we were about to see. Christmas music played low on the radio, but none of us sang along. We didn't need to. The decision had settled over us like armor. We arrived 40 minutes early. The parking lot was half full, staff and elf hats directing cars. The air smelled like pine and kettle corn even from the truck. I could already see the glow of the lights beyond the entrance gate, soft whites and reds and golds spilling into the night sky. We walked up to the ticket booth together. A young girl, maybe 19, cheeks rosy from the cold, was working the window. Her name tag read Kayla. "Evening," Tom said, handing over our confirmation. "We have 8 VIP tickets under Thomas Harlan." She scanned the code, smiled brightly. "All set. You folks are early. Perfect timing for the first sleigh rides." I leaned in a little. "Actually, Kayla, there's been a change. Only 4 of us are coming tonight. Me, my husband, my son, and my granddaughter. The other 4 tickets, we won't be needing them." Kayla blinked. "Oh, do you want a partial refund? I'd have to get a manager." "No refund needed," I said. My voice was warm, almost gentle. "But I do have a favor to ask." She tilted her head, curious. I smiled at her, the kind of smile that comes from knowing you're doing exactly the right thing. "When the next family comes up with little kids, ones who don't already have VIP passes, could you give them our extra tickets? Tell them it's a Christmas gift from someone who wants them to have a magical night." Kayla's eyes widened. Then she broke into a huge grin. "Seriously? That's the sweetest thing I've heard all week. Absolutely, I'll do that." "Thank you," I said, and I meant it. We walked through the gate into a wonderland of lights. Crystal wasn't with us yet. Colton was picking her up. But the knowledge that she would be soon, that this night was still ours, filled me with a fierce, protective joy. As we stood there, waiting for the first sleigh to pull up, I felt the last of the hurt burn away. What was left was clarity. Sharp. Clean. Anna wanted to redraw the lines of family to exclude us? Fine. We'd draw our own. And tonight, some strangers were going to get an unexpected miracle, because my generosity wasn't for sale anymore. It was a gift, and gifts go to people who value them. I took Tom's hand. He squeezed it once, steady and sure. Whatever meltdown was coming when Anna arrived, whatever screaming phone call, whatever accusations, we'd be ready. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't bending, I was standing. We didn't have to wait long. Colton arrived with Crystal 20 minutes after we'd settled near the entrance barn, sipping complimentary hot cocoa under strings of colored lights. My granddaughter came barreling toward me in her new red coat, cheeks flushed from the cold, eyes already wide at the glow around us. She threw her arms around my legs and squealed, "Gamma, the horses are so little. Can we ride now?" I scooped her up, buried my face in her curls for a second, and felt the last knot of tension in my chest loosen. Whatever storm was coming, it wouldn't touch her tonight, not if I could help it. We plunged into the magic. First sleigh ride of the evening, just the 4 of us. Crystal sat between Tom and me, legs swinging, clutching the fuzzy blanket the attendants provided. The mini horses clopped along the lighted path, bells jingling, fake snow drifting down from hidden machines overhead. Colton snapped pictures while Crystal waved at every caroler like they were celebrities. I caught Tom watching me over her head, his eyes soft. He mouthed, "You okay?" I nodded. More than okay. For the first time in hours, I was exactly where I belonged. My phone stayed silent for a blessed half hour. I let myself believe, foolishly, that maybe Anna would just buy regular tickets and we'd all coexist in separate corners of the event. Maybe she'd swallow her pride for one night. Then it buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Anna. Calling, not texting. Of course. I stepped away from the petting area where Crystal was feeding a baby goat through the fence, took a breath, answered. "Ellen?" Her voice was already at full volume, shrill enough that I had to pull the phone away from my ear. "We're at the gate and there are no tickets. What the hell?" I let the silence stretch, just long enough for her to feel it. In the background, I could hear David muttering, a woman, David's mother, I assumed, complaining about the cold, the baby fussing. "I'm sorry," I said, calmly. "There seems to have been a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding? You said the tickets would be waiting at will call." "No," I corrected. "We said the tickets would be waiting when we were all going together. Plans changed, remember? You wanted tonight to be just family." Another beat of silence. Then the explosion. "Are you serious right now? You're punishing us because I asked for one night with David's mom? We're standing here in the freezing cold and you're, what, holding the tickets hostage? I watched Crystal laugh as the goat nibbled her palm. Colton lifted her onto his shoulders so she could see the reindeer pen. My real family. I'm not holding anything, I said. The extra tickets were given to the next family in line with kids, a young couple. Looked like their first big Christmas outing with toddlers. They were thrilled. You gave away our tickets? Her voice cracked on the last word. To strangers? They weren't my tickets to give to you anymore, I said. You made it clear you didn't want us there. I respected your wishes. I could practically hear her blood pressure spiking. This is unbelievable. Do you have any idea how much last-minute tickets cost? We're going to have to pay double for general admission now, and none of the good stuff is included. That does sound frustrating, I said, my tone syrupy sweet, but I'm sure it'll still be lovely. She screamed something incoherent. I heard David grab the phone. Ellen, this is ridiculous, he started, trying for reasonable adult. Just tell the booth to let us in as VIP. We'll figure it out later. No, I said, simply. A stunned pause. He wasn't used to hearing that word from me. In the distance, I saw Kayla at the ticket window wave cheerfully to a young couple pushing a double stroller. They were hugging each other, jumping up and down. Our tickets, now theirs. I smiled. David handed the phone back to Anna. She was crying now, angry, dramatic sobs. You're ruining everything. David's mom flew in just for this, and now we look like idiots. Crystal's missing out on time with her new grandma because of you. I felt a flicker of guilt at Crystal's name, but it died fast. Crystal was currently on her second sleigh ride, squealing with delight as Tom pretended the horses were racing. Crystal's having a wonderful time, I said. She's on the VIP sleigh again right now, front of the line, no waiting. We're about to head to dinner, reserved table, all inclusive. The line went dead silent, except for her ragged breathing. When she spoke again, her voice was venomous. You're a Grinch, Ellen, a bitter, petty Grinch. You just ruined my Christmas gift for my mother-in-law. I hope you're proud of yourself. I watched Crystal wave at me from the sleigh as it rounded the bend, her little face lit up like an angel under the multicolored lights. I am, I said quietly. I really am. She hung up. I slipped the phone into my pocket and walked back to my family. An hour later, I spotted them across the grounds, Anna's group, huddled near the general admission entrance. They'd bought the cheaper tickets after all. No reserved seating, no priority access. They stood in the long line for the basic sleigh ride, while Crystal waved at the goats again, already on her third round of petting because VIP meant no limits. Anna's group skipped the chuckwagon dinner altogether. I heard later they left early because no one wanted to shell out another $20 a head for food. David's mother looked miserable, bundled in a thin coat, date-checking his watch every 30 seconds. We, meanwhile, feasted. Prime rib carved tableside, endless cornbread, hot cider refills. Crystal fell asleep against my shoulder halfway through dessert, marshmallow sticky on her cheek, souvenir cocoa mug clutched in her lap like treasure. As we carried her to the truck at the end of the night, Colton said quietly, "You did good, Mom." Tom squeezed my hand. Damn good. I looked back once at the twinkling lights fading behind us. Somewhere in that crowd, a young family was still riding sleighs and taking pictures, thinking Christmas miracles were real. And somewhere else, Anna was seething in her car, probably drafting a long text about how awful I am. I felt not 1 ounce of regret, only a deep, steady satisfaction, because tonight I learned something important. Bending over backwards for people who won't bend an inch eventually breaks you, but standing up straight, that feels like freedom. Anna wanted to redefine family to exclude us. Fine, we redefined it right back. And ours, the one that showed up, paid the price, and chose love over entitlement, got the magic. The rest got exactly what they paid for. Nothing more.